Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. Well, friends, today I have an interesting topic to talk about. It's going to be a slice of what we usually talk about in terms of genomic sequencing. We've already been looking at Illumina and Pacific Biosciences. So today I thought let us have a look at a segment of their business, which is basically called RNA sequencing, often abbreviated as RNA-Seq or RNA-Seq. It's a powerful laboratory technique used in molecular biology and genomics to study the transcriptome of an organization. The transcriptome refers to the complete set of RNA molecules, including messenger RNA, which is mRNA, non-coding RNA, and other RNA species that are produced by the cells of an organism. RNA sequencing provides valuable information about gene expression, alternative splicing, and can be used to discover novel transcripts and quantify RNA abundance. Hence, breakdown of the use and application of RNA sequencing is essential. But before I start talking about the applications of RNA sequencing, I just want to make a very brief request to you guys. If you have been watching our channel for a while and not subscribed, please subscribe. We are very close to 5,000. Personally, as a first-time YouTuber, I'm very keen to touch the 5,000 subscription level. Your help is most welcome. And if you're already a subscriber, please consider becoming a member to support the channel further. With that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. Before the break, we were talking about the use and application of RNA sequencing. So let us start off with the use and application. The first one is gene expression analysis. One of the primary applications of RNA sequencing is to measure the expression levels of genes by sequencing the RNA molecules in a biological sample. Researchers can determine which genes are actively transcribed in a specific tissue, cell type, or under certain conditions. This helps in understanding the regulation of gene expression in various biological processes. Identification of alternative splicing, which is RNA sequencing, can help detect alternative splicing events, which are crucial for generating multiple protein isoforms from a single gene. By analyzing RNA sequencing data, researchers can identify and quantify different splice variants, shedding light on the functional diversity of proteins. And then we have discovery of novel transcripts. RNA sequences can uncover novel RNA transcripts, including non-coding RNAs, example, long non-coding RNAs or INC RNAs. These newly discovered transcripts may have important roles in regulating gene expressions and cellular processes. The other application of RNA sequencing would be differential gene expression study. Researchers use RNA sequence to compare gene expression levels between different samples or conditions. This technique allows them to identify genes that are upregulated or downregulated in response to specific treatments, disease, or developmental stages. And then there is the application in functional annotation. RNA sequencing data can be used to annotate the functions of genes and transcripts by analyzing the genes that are co-expressed with a particular gene of interest, and researchers can infer its potential biological role. And then we have single cell RNA sequencing, or SC small case RNA-Seq or scRNA-Seq. This specialized RNA sequencing technique allows researchers to analyze gene expressions at the single cell level, and it's invaluable for understanding cell heterogeneity with tissues and identifying rare cell populations. Pathway and functional analysis is also another application of RNA sequencing, where RNA sequencing data can be used for pathway and functional enrichment analysis, helping to uncover the biological processes and pathways that are significantly affected in a given experiment. And then we come to the area of application in cancer research, which is very important. RNA sequences is extensively used in cancer research to identify cancer-specific gene expression profiles, mutations, fusion genes, and potential therapeutic targets. And then we have drug discovery applications where RNA sequencing can be employed to assess the effect of drugs and other treatments on gene expression, helping in drug discovery and development. And finally, we have evolutionary studies where RNA sequencing data can be used to compare gene expression profiles across different species, shedding light on evolutionary changes in gene regulation. And of course, I forgot to mention about clinical applications of RNA sequencing, where we can use them for identifying disease biomarkers, monitoring treatment responses, and understanding the molecular basis of genetic disorders. So friends, you might be wondering, what are all these various types of RNA and how do they get started? So one of the most simplistic explanation I have, because as you know, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, I like to go deeper and deeper into anything that I study. Any term that I do not understand, I try to go and study about it, and in the process I discover new terms. And that's how the depth of knowledge goes in any subject. So for RNA, what I have understood is that when our body actually uses protein as a currency, the presence or absence of certain protein or the combination of proteins determine what will happen in our body at any given time. So my understanding is that when a cell experiences external stress, in response to the stress, the cell tells its DNA to generate some proteins. So in the DNA, you have got chromosomes, and in the chromosomes, you have got genes, and the genes are actually the blueprint for a protein. So the genes throw out a copy, which is called mRNA, that is the recipe for creating a protein. And then you have tRNA, which goes and reads the mRNA and creates a protein. So if there are genetic defects, you have a defective mRNA coming out, which is synthesized properly, but it yields a different protein. And wrong protein or defective protein causes a defect in the function that the protein was supposed to perform in our body, or the message that it was supposed to send to other parts of the body or other components of the body. And that's how we get genetic diseases. So when you have RNA sequencing, you are in a position to not only study RNA, but also all the species of RNA that are present in our body. And when a particular drug is given to a patient, you can also study how it impacts the cells, and therefore what kind of mRNA is thrown out and what kind of protein is created. So those are the kind of things that we just discussed. So in summary, if I was to talk about RNA sequencing, I would say that RNA sequencing is a versatile and widely used technique that provides valuable insights into gene expression and transcriptome dynamics. It has applications in various fields of biology, from basic research to clinical diagnostics, and has revolutionized our understanding of gene regulation and function. Now, having said that, what is the size, right? We are all investors. We are worried about the dollars and the risks. So the global NSG-based RNA sequencing market in terms of revenue was estimated to be worth $2.5 billion in 2022, and it's poised to reach $5.5 billion by 2027, growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 17.2% all the way from 2022 to 2027. So that's the growth out here. And there are a whole lot of players in this field. Some of the major players we have already seen before, but I'm going to list major players who are on next-gen sequencing-based RNA sequencing market. These are Illumina. We have seen them on a daily basis. We know them inside out. Pacific Biosciences, we look at them more frequently. Then we have Thermo Fisher. Sandeep and I are going to talk about Thermo Fisher on Monday. So you will have our analysis on Thermo Fisher. This is exactly the reason why we selected Thermo Fisher for analysis. And then we have Oxford Nanopore. We have spoken about them for a while. They are optical sequencing. Agilent Technologies Inc., BGI, Perkin-Elmer Inc., Quagen, Eurofin Scientific, and F. Hoffman Laroche Limited. These are all the companies. Some of them we don't know, and probably I won't even cover in the channel. But we already know about Illumina and Pacific Biosciences, and we check their shares frequently. However, this industry has also suffered headwinds due to overall economic environment and high interest regime. I now believe that these sequencing companies should do good business because all genomic therapy companies and research institutions and hospitals will need the hardware, software, and consumables for genomic sequencing, which also includes RNA sequencing. And also, when you talk about biovigilance or keeping track of pandemics and other pathogens, then we need RNA sequencing. And in today's video, we are focusing on the RNA sequencing side of the business. That's why I explained to you what is RNA sequencing and what is involved in it and what is the size of the market, what are the users. So let us just see two of the other companies and how they are doing in this area, to validate whether they are also suffering similar to Pacific Bio and Illumina in terms of headwinds. Of course, Pacific Bio is doing extremely well, in my opinion, compared to all other sequencing companies because they have forecast growth. And we have to see whether their forecast comes true because others are not able to forecast growth. So first, let us take a look at Agilent. In April 2021, Agilent Technologies Inc. acquired Resolution Biosciences for $695 million. Through this acquisition, Agilent expanded its NSG-based cancer diagnostic capabilities and positioned itself to better meet the demands for rapidly expanding precision medicine market. Agilent's abilities to serve clinical diagnostics and biopharma customers is further strengthened by the addition of Resolution Biosciences liquid biopsy-based diagnostic technologies, which also expands the company's opportunities for growth in diagnostics and genomic sectors. At least that's what they thought when they took over Resolution Biosciences. And Resolution Biosciences was a US-based company involved in developing and commercializing next-generation sequencing-based precision oncology solutions. On August 22, 2023, very recently, we have news that Agilent is shutting down the business that it bought only years earlier. Drops within the Resolution department and Agilent's genomics business offset what would have otherwise been a solid win for the company's diagnostics and genomics segment for the quarter. The pathology business grew by high single digits, while Agilent's nucleic acid therapeutics saw a boost in the high teens. The CEO reported that altogether, thanks to the headwinds in Resolution and genomics, the overall segment experienced a year-over-year increase of just 3% to reach $349 million for the quarter. This was way below what was expected when they took over Resolution. The shuttering of the Resolution business will continue through the final quarter of Agilent's fiscal year 2023, which ends in October 31, and into the early months of fiscal year 2024. Robert McMahon, who's the company's chief financial officer, said during the most recent earnings call, "This shows how the Russia-Ukraine war and economic headwinds have made it difficult to progress business in this difficult economic environment. And one should also not forget that the COVID era created new opportunities which hyped the business of many companies. And now that COVID has gone into the back burner, it's kind of deflated the earning prospects and heady growth that many companies have experienced." And when you look at the COVID earnings and compare the latest earnings against them, it kind of makes the current earnings look anemic, even if it is more than the pre-COVID earnings that any company experienced. Pre-COVID, wherever Pfizer was, they earned more than that, way more than that during COVID. And after COVID, their earnings dropped, but it is still more than their pre-COVID earning. But in comparison, it looks really bad. So that's the kind of phenomenon that many companies are experiencing. Next, let us look at Oxford Nanopore. Interim losses have widened at Oxford Nanopore Technologies despite profit growth in the life sciences research tools, or LSRT division. This outcome had mostly been flagged in advance by the company, which was the beneficiary of a government COVID testing contract that ended last year. Like many of its peers in the life sciences sector, Oxford Nanopore is having to figure out how to fill gaps in its income statement in the post-pandemic period. It's hoping customers will continue to realize that its sequencing solutions have numerous scientific applications. Fortunately, the company is debt-free and has a strong cash position, meaning it's likely having enough firepower or fuel in the engines required to reach profitability. So, in conclusion, what I would say is that RNA sequencing is a versatile and pervasive technique, reshaping our understanding of gene expression and transcriptome dynamics. Its applications span a wider spectrum from fundamental research to clinical diagnosis to drug discovery, transcending boundaries and propelling the frontiers of genomics. Despite the challenges faced by some industry players in an evolving economic landscape, the enduring relevance and potential of RNA sequencing remain indisputable, guiding us towards greater revelations in the world of molecular biology and genomics. Investors will need patience and will have to weather out the economic headwinds that are likely to continue unabated for at least the next 2 years, in my opinion. And strong companies in this sector with proven products and good cash balance will be worth long-term investment at current low prices. And finally, before I end this segment, I just got a very good thought in my mind of how to give you an idea of how genomic sequencing and RNA sequencing need to coexist. Friends, we are all familiar with balance sheet and income and expense statement or profit and loss statement. Both are needed to understand a company. So I would consider the DNA to be like the balance sheet, and I would consider the RNA sequencing to be like the profit and loss or income and expenditure account. So that's how you have to look at it, because RNA is all the transactions that happen in our body. The genes contained in the DNA are thrown out as mRNA for various situations, and they get synthesized into different proteins in order to meet different requirements of the body at different times and perform its normal function and keep the organism alive and doing its function in a proper manner. So studying the RNA is like studying the funds flow of a company. So that's how I think that's the takeaway I would like you to have when you are looking at any other company which does RNA sequencing. So let me also remind you that these are my personal opinion and not financial advice. So please do your own due diligence. And also, I do not own any of the shares of the companies that I have discussed here. So that's all from me for now, but please let me know what you think about this segment of sequencing business and the companies I have mentioned. And before I go, I would like to remind you, if you're already a subscriber, please consider becoming a member. So I hope that you guys have a great Sunday. I'll catch up with you again on Monday. And on Monday, we'll be back with our great Sandeep. And he's going to do some financial analysis or fundamental analysis on Thermo Fisher. I'll give my opinion. We'll come up with a segment, and we are going to try to keep it shorter this time, shorter than the last one. But guys, give us your feedback so that Sandeep and I can improve our offering, and that segment can become much better going forward. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.